Wow, this is really awkward. Oh my god, we're actually hugging her? Hey Internet, it's Jessica and welcome back to The Letter. So we are going to continue on with Marianne's little meeting with the rights, and hopefully no blonde girl shows up again, because that was kind of weird, let's be honest here. Anyway, there's no denying the clients when they invite me over to the table. Though it is too personal to share a meal in their home, it would be terribly rude to deny their invitation. Besides, the pancakes did look and smell heavenly. That is freaking nice. Johans! He made this? My god! A bowl of clotted cream, fruits, syrups, jams, and other spreads are all laid out next to them, making for a colorful arrangement. If this was brunch with friends, I would have gladly helped myself to a whole lot, but as it is, I just accepted a few pieces of pancakes and topped off with a lemon and sugar.
You know, I was a tiny bit serious when I said I wanted a helipad.
And you're not serious about the greenhouse, the vineyard, and the stables?
Well, I do want those too, but I know you'll agree to those.
We're talking about interiors here, honey. You don't handle exterior designs and whatever handles those sorts of projects do you, Marianne?
No.
I'm able, actually.
Oh,
I'm
she is,
willing
no,
to
right.
take a project of that nature. I was an architect in Ireland before. Of course, that's another contract entirely. I also suggest we finish the house itself before working on any additions to the rest of the property. There won't be any problems about ownership this time, will there? Pardon if I'm crossing a line, but the acquisition was rather quick.
Oh, don't you worry. We've got everything sorted this time around. I've talked to Miss Cooper and Mr. John from BRC, as well as the old owners. Everything has been paid in full, and all we're waiting for is the paperwork from the land registry. They're letting us move in as soon as we please. It's not like they were living there in the first place.
That's good to hear. The problems that could arise from renovating another person's home would be... well, let's not dwell on it. First off, we'll want to know how you want the place to look. It's pretty furnished as is, but I understand if you want to modernize the whole thing.
Actually, I'd prefer to keep the place looking as it is, but at the same time, I want modern appliances. You worked on the Ludgate's Christchurch summer residence. I do remember there being an oven I thought was a simple drawer before. Make them look vintage, antique, blended with the rest of the decor.
Customize appliances then. I can't find someone for that, and if you can't tell me what you specifically want, it'll hasten up the process. We're talking about electronic appliance manufacturers. If you have a preferred brand to work with.
Splendid! So, what is next on our agenda?
Not getting killed!
The other interior designers we've hired in the past did not have us this involved.
I stopped. What sort of half-baked designer did that? If I knew who they were, I would have words. This isn't the time or place for it, however. Instead, I used this brief pause to pull out the floor plans I brought with me.
We'll have to figure out what you want to do with the rooms. Here, we can have a quick run through.
What is that little room next to the master's bedroom?
What? Where?
Oh, as far as I could tell when I saw it, it's a second bedroom of sorts.
Oh, okay.
Used, apparently, for the ladies in waiting who has served Lady Charlotte Ermengarde. Which is strange, as that isn't the norm for these sorts of houses.
Well, we're not stuffing Johans in there. He won't fit. You don't suppose we could turn it into a walk-in closet and a dressing room?
I love fashion, but do we really need to turn an entire room into a walk-in closet, dear? We'll have large closets and a wardrobe in the bedroom already.
Says the one who takes 3/5 of our closet. Well, what do you suggest we do with it?
I thought a utility room of some sort would be nice. A craft room where I can do fun things. Or maybe a children's room might be nice.
Yeah!
For when Kylie comes over. Or if Rochelle visits once she's had a baby.
1, you are not inviting that witch. And 2, there's a whole mansion for Kylie to play in.
You're not inviting the girl I slept with and impregnated.
We don't need a children's room, and you don't even do arts and
That's
crafts.
so awkward. I don't know when Hannah's gonna tell him she's pregnant.
I'd like to turn the guest's room and the study into my personal office, by the way.
Of course you would.
If you don't mind.
You can turn it into a personal office if I can have my utility room. It's just the one room of the many. I'm taking that room for myself, no matter what you say, dearie. So you might as well take this deal. You're always out doing business anyway. The real problem is the theater. Whatever are we going to do with all that space?
Fine. We could turn it into our own personal cinema, I suppose. Might as well have it, if you plan on not having a telly in the parlor.
Yes, well, I don't want guests to be glued to the telly when they come over for a meal and some tea. By the looks of things, we can keep the rooms as what they are on the ground floor, though. The ballroom would be perfect for parties.
Yeah, that would.
Do we really need a dining hall, though? I don't suppose we can't convert it into a garage.
What for? You can park your cars outside.
Man, rich people, am I right?
What about that room? Right there, in the northeast corner.
That's sleeping quarters for the household help?
Oh, that is perfect. Johans will be glad if we have other staff members who stayed in. It'd be convenient so they don't have to make the trip from Luxspawn to the mansion when they're needed.
You'll definitely need a lot more people to maintain a property of this size.
The mansion is really a lot bigger than I thought. Look at all these rooms. I didn't even know there was a music room next to the parlor because of what happened.
There was a grand piano in there too, when we checked during the tour.
Did you hear that, Luke? Maybe you can take up playing the piano again. Oh, you should have seen him when we were younger, Marianne.
It's not like I was very good with the thing.
Oh, hush you. You were no Mozart, but I loved hearing you play nonetheless. He'd come over to my home and he'd play such fun tunes. He'd sing too, and I'd dance, and it was just...
Mr. Wright playing the piano? I can't imagine it. But the earnest way in which Mrs. Wright said so told otherwise.
Anyway, what do you think of these plans, Marianne?
Are we not even going to consider one of my requests? Not even just a closet or just a garage?
Dude, you're asking for a helipad outside. Like, what do you want?
Now, that isn't fair, is it? You're not the only one who's going to be living here.
I hardly see how that's unfair. I told you you're getting your office and your theater, the greenhouse, the vineyard, and the stables.
Man, Luke is really greedy.
That sounds fair, does it not, Marianne?
Well, yeah, it sounds fair. We can compromise. No, bitch, I'm taking Hannah's side. Mrs. Wright has her points, though. I really didn't want to butt in the spat of a husband and a wife, but with the way that these two were looking at me to settle this, I might as well just keep at the facts instead of giving opinions.
Mr. Wright, your plan isn't quite feasible from an architectural perspective. I'm not even sure how much we can do without closer inspection. Well, the one about the garage, at least. A walk-in closet is easy enough, but the garage?
See, a garage isn't architecturally feasible, and it isn't going to be financially sound as well. We're already going to spend a lot on your other requests. You have several acres of land to park on already.
What? Did you calculate that on the fly? Financially sound my foot. You're probably just thinking up of imaginary numbers.
If you forget, Hannah used to be, a financial advisor or whatever. She used to do this for a living. So don't say she came up with, made up numbers. She knows what she's talking about. How does Luke not remember this? He married the woman.
Might I remind you that I was a financial manager?
Exactly.
I also looked over and approved the
She knows what she's
expenses of our
talking
other
about, you
houses.
asshole.
I know the rough cost of these things by now, love. Masters in business administration, major in accounting. Sometimes I think you forget that I'm not as dumb as I act.
Ooh, that catches my attention more than anything. It sounds more unbelievable than Whiskey playing the piano. She really didn't seem like the type.
Business administration and accounting? What university?
Luxspawn U, of course. Go Lux Dragons, red and gold.
Excuse me? How about we move on this chit-chat ahead and do whatever else
This
needs to be
guy
done
gets
sometime
so
today?
pissed when the
I had to
attention's not
cancel
on
my
him.
appointments for this, We might as well do a proper inspection with the designer this time, just to get it out of the way.
Yes, no time like the present. You want a thorough inspection? Might as well do it now. We actually took another look at the property yesterday, though it was brief. But I'm sure you would want to see it yourself, to spot anything we might have missed.
It's not like I have much of a choice, do I? Riding to the Ermengarde Mansion in their rice is an awkward affair. Not only am I worried about worrying about scuffing the expensive leather seats, but I'm also worried about getting in the middle of another couple's spat. With the tension thick in the air, I can feel them staring at each other at any time. Nobody's saying anything. Up until Mr. Wright tells his valet to turn the damn radio off. And for a moment, I think that he might start. But instead, he just stays quiet, and so do the rest of us. In the end, the insufferable silence stays. Yikes, this is awkward. I have never been so glad to see a house. Stepping out of the car and up to the mansion meant to the end of the uncomfortable ride, and I finally take a deep breath of fresh air. The beauty of the place never fails to make me gaze and wonder every time I see it as well. Mrs. Wright moves towards the front door, keys in hand, and I can already hear Mr. Wright plotting.
Alright, Hans, we're going to go in. But I want you to look around the place. Familiarize yourself with it. Know every nook and cranny. Every inch of the lot. Go and see where we can put that vineyard and the other things we talked about. We'll want to know where to station security as well, so go around the perimeter and figure it out.
Why are you making... I feel so bad for Johann. This man has to do everything.
Scouts a property and circles a perimeter on foot. You do know this is 46 acres of land, sir.
Well, you are not driving a car over the grass.
Wow, you're so... I don't like that he's so mean to Johann.
Put those long, spidery legs of yours to good use. I didn't hire you to stand around and look intimidating. Go, mush.
Someday, I'd like to ask how Johannes can even stand or tolerate the man. Why doesn't he just quit? Certainly the pay can't be that good. Even I'm a bit off-put by our mutual employer, and the only thing that keeps me from bailing is the fact that we've already signed a contract. At least I'll be working with them during the duration of the project. He works with them every day.
Sometimes I think you hired me to make me suffer for your
I
amusement.
feel so sorry for him. Someday, I'd ask. I feel a bit bad for him. If it's any consultation, he'll be away from Mr. Wright, if only for a little while. We're able to enter the mansion after a bit of standing out there in the sun. This wretched, strange sunlight is far too alien and rare. There has been a bit of a problem, with the missus not knowing which key was which. The first item on the agenda would be the grand staircase. It seems sturdy enduring the open house, but a closer inspection might say otherwise. There is no obvious marks of damages nor wear and tear, probably rethreaded during the renovations. Peeking under the grand carpet, the wood is properly installed with the bark placed down to prevent cupping. The carpet itself could use a vacuum though. Structural conditions, from what I can see without actually dismantling the thing, looks to be in good shape, and the handrails and the support posts are firm. The work on it should be commended. I can't look much more into the rest of the foyer, however, because Mr. Wright starts to hurry us into the checking into the dining hall.
So, what do you think? Certainly we can't turn this area into a garage.
It's Jacobean architecture. I'd say these would be pilasters and not buttresses, but you never really know. They really liked mixing up these elements. You could say it was pretty avant-garde at the time. We might hit a support beam if we're not careful.
And in layman's terms?
From what I see here, we could risk great damage to the house if we try to turn the dining hall into a garage.
The man didn't look too pleased at this. There's a look of disappointment before he sighs and looks around the place with an air of defeat. When he moves to speak, I dread another unreasonable demand. Again.
This will stay a dining hall then.
Oh, thank God.
But if I may have another request instead,
Ugh.
at least spruce the place up with some flowers, some plants or something. It feels so old and dead in here.
Funny you should say that.
That's hardly unreasonable. Daffodils are a must, I presume.
The look that passes between the two of them, there is a genuine look of fondness there. This is the first time I've seen such an exchange between the two of them. If anyone are to see them like this, there is a little doubt that they loved each other.
Of course, and I want a garden full of them. Now, if you excuse me, I'd like to look at the rest of the house. I'll just be around here downstairs, if anybody needs me.
That leaves Mrs. Wright and I.
He's quite fond of them, you know.
I can imagine. He looked terribly upset when we told him he can't have his garage.
I meant the daffodils. We always have a vase full of them in every house we own. I'd like to think. They may be about his mother.
Oh, so she doesn't really know.
He never talks about her. I don't even know her name. He likes to flatter, claim that they remind him of me, but he's always loved the flowers, even before we married.
Much like the piano, I didn't take him for a person who likes flowers. Daffodils, at least. What's next? Am I going to find out that Mr. Wright saves kittens from burning buildings?
I'll go and snoop about upstairs.
Oh my god, am I going to be left alone again?
You go and do whatever it is that you have to do.
Oh god, when she goes without even asking if I need her here, I'm left standing to stare at the walls. Really? I don't need to do a thorough inspection of the building itself. It isn't really a part of the interior designer's job. The architect in me is committed to doing this task with every project. If I'm going to make a living space that have both form and function, I might as well make sure that the entirety of it is safe for my clients. Of course she's gonna do that! Since I'm here already, I roam around the dining hall to check things off my punch list, if you will. But when it's time to move on, I hesitate. Mr. Wright said that he would be somewhere around here on the ground floor, and I really didn't want to be alone with whiskey. I have to go look through the place eventually, sure, but on the other hand, I can do that later when he's gone. I can go upstairs first if I want to. Which floor should I go first? Hey, where's Hannah? I've already seen enough of this floor during the open house, cause I know this is just a convenient excuse. I just don't want to be in the same room as whiskey anytime soon, so I might as well just go upstairs first. The banister and the grand staircases landing are solid and proper height. Any lower and they would be in trouble. There is a small catch on the carpet though, but as long as nobody tries to run down the stairs until it gets fixed, things should be alright. That's probably where Isabella tripped, right? And the stained glass art restored, no doubt in the image of the last lady and Lord of Ermengarde. Or is it supposed to be until Lady Charlotte's fiance was brutally murdered? By a witch. A witch of all things, from what I've read. You'd think the historians of this place would be a lot more scrutinizing, filtering out stuff like that. A witch? I'm amazed they bothered with it, instead of replacing it with some generic cookie-cutter design. This entire place alone would have cost highly 5,000, even £1 million. Lady Charlotte Ermengarde and her beloved. Looking at the mosaic, it's not far of a stretch of the imagination to believe that the depiction images could be Mr. and Mrs. Wright. It can be easily assumed as such if one doesn't know the history of the mansion. Really, a place like this should be protected by the government as a landmark. But what can I do about it? Walking into the east wing, I try to go into the theater, but is met with an obstacle. The obstacle is that the doors are locked. The doors, too, and both of them are locked. I'd be frustrated, would be, if I already hadn't snuck off while the Wrights were having their little business meeting with Mrs. Cooper before to take a peek. With that Mr. Wright wanted, we would have to install a powerful projector, the type that they use in cinemas and the projection screens. The seats would have to be reupholstered if they're to be any comfortable, and the walls will have to be covered in dark material, paint, wallpaper, or an instant wall-to-wall carpeting. Really, of all the rooms I could be jealous of, it's this one. I could just picture myself in there, watching old kung fu flicks on the weekend-long marathons. Makes me wonder what kind of movie Mrs. Wright would like. Ooh, I wonder why you're curious about that, Marianne. Rom-coms, perhaps? Her husband, on the other hand, I'd rather not think about it. In the middle of my notion of the plan, I don't even realize that I'm not alone, until I'm caught standing in front of a locked door like a fool.
Were you meaning to go in there?
Oh god.
I'm afraid we won't be able to open it up today.
Oh well, I wanted to, but it's fine. I can still survey the rest of the place.
Apologies, but the key was missing when they were handed over. They told us that they'd get right back to us with it.
Oh god, what is in the theater? What if something like really horrible is in there?
What? But aren't they supposed to hand over all the keys once property changes hands? That can be grounds to file a complaint.
They were already kind enough to let us move in so early. There's no need to raise a fuss about it. Worst comes to worst, we can call for a locksmith.
The air is heavy and somber when she grows quiet and glances out the window, out towards the vast expanse of that surrounded what would be their house, their home. Then she looked back at me with a sigh and bitter smile.
Flowers. Yellow flowers. Daffodils, dandelions, and sunflowers and the sort all up front. Just a whole garden of them. They'll make the house look lovely, won't they?
Of course. A garden is a wonderful addition to any home.
As I say this, her eyes roam over me, scrutinizing and thoughtful. I have to hold back the shiver that threatens to run down my spine at being inspected so closely.
Yes, it must be nice.
We're still talking about the garden.
Yeah,
yes?
what's happening?
I mean, not having to worry about what another person thinks of you.
Oh.
What do you mean by that?
She lifts a hand and points to the wedding ring before it falls listily into her side.
Sometimes I wonder what would have happened if I didn't marry Luke.
Am I the only one who feels like... I think that she genuinely does love Luke, but I really do think she married him just because it was expected of her to be married to a man, to, like, have a family and all that. Like, she was explaining in her chapter, like, she was brought up in this world where it's, like, expected of her to be, like, a lady and stuff like that, and be dumb, and, like, not be, like, the working woman and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure she just married Luke just so that people would stop telling her that. And, like, I don't doubt that she does love him, but, like, they weren't ready to be married. I think that's what happened.
There'll be no fights about walk-in closets or silly helipads. I could do with this place as my heart desires until there's nothing but content. Then again, I wouldn't have bought this place if it wasn't a gift for him. I probably wouldn't even be in Luxbourne if it wasn't for him. Maybe I would have moved to London, Manchester, or Birmingham. I might have even left the country altogether. France, Germany, Spain, Canada, Sweden, even America. The possibilities would have been endless.
I feel really bad for Hannah. I don't know what to say to that. What is there to say?
I'm sorry, I must sound so petty and ungrateful. I do love him. So very much, even if he can be a bit difficult at times.
Oh no, not at all. I'm just confused why you're telling me this, of all people.
Yeah, it is kind of weird. We're just the interior designer.
Just a whim, I think. Just flights of fancy, that's all. Don't you ever think about one decision you've made in your life and wonder how much would change if you chose to do things differently?
I try not to dwell on the past, ma'am.
The key word is try, of course. Thinking of the past brings up too many ghosts, memories of her. And I do wonder what would change if I said yes when she asked for me. Maybe she'd still be with me. Wait, ask for what? What? I return to the present, just like I said. I try not to dwell on the past. Why don't you decide on your own? You must have been quite the pair. Okay, again, I'm not trying to, like, okay, like, I know, like, I don't really like Luke and whatever, but I'm not trying to be like, oh, fuck Luke, let's make sure, like, he's completely unhappy, because I don't even know his story yet, we're not in his chapter, right? My mind might change, like it did with Hannah, but, like, I really think Hannah should, like, decide things on her own, because she seems so unhappy, you know? It's not healthy. Like, she needs time away from Luke, and I'm not saying she doesn't need to end up with him or end up with anyone else. I just feel like she hasn't had time to be her own person because she married so quickly and she gave up her entire life for marriage just because other people told her to do that. So I'm gonna tell her, like, you know, why don't you try to do your own thing? Her worries seem simple enough. I mean, it doesn't have to be as difficult as she makes it out to be, right?
Why don't you decide on your own?
I meant nothing against Mr. Wright, of course, though whiskey buggered me to no end. By law, she would be the owner of the house. Well, unless they signed a joint property ownership anyway, which is a rare thing, as far as I know, especially among these highbrow types. Sure, they could actually love their spouse, I don't doubt the possibility, but money is money, and it makes people do the most horrible things sometimes, that's true.
It's your house. You can paint the whole place pink if you want, and there's not much he can do.
There's a somber expression the somber expression she had changes to a look of content.
I could, but we are husband and wife. Equal partners in marriage, Marianne, though I can see that you don't understand.
I didn't mean to offend her. I'm just trying to say, like, you know, stand up for yourself, because she seems to, like, give in to Luke too much.
This is his home as much as it is mine.
Oh, God.
I'm not going to go behind his back over a room. And how dare you suggest that?
How do I even talk her down without causing further offense? It's my attempt to shake off my own drama that I end up tripping right into theirs. Because really, I have no business meddling in the affairs of my clients, unless it involves interior design or architecture. Yet here I am, opening my mouth and yapping. I do hate to see a good woman down.
That's not what I meant by it. I just mean that maybe you don't have to get the approval of your husband all the time. Or, well, okay, fine. I know nothing about married life, Mrs. Wright. You're right about that. But I still think you're allowed your indulgences every now and then.
Of course, my form of indulgence meant by buying an old State at 70 RPM country records which I don't even dare use on my gramophone. For her, it's even very well buying entire houses.
That's just my take on it. A perfect relationship is as rare as hen's teeth. You got what you got. I mean, you're doing well enough without my advice. Sure, look it.
That looks to place in her somewhat. She looks away and stands in favor of the view outside once more with a fairway look in her eyes.
Feel free to look around the rest of the house. Everything but the theatre should be open. Just call if there's need of me.
Of course, Mrs. Wright.
I really shouldn't have opened my big mouth in the first place. This sort of thing only gets me in trouble. Keep it clean, keep it simple, and stick to business. That's it. Be professional. But I fail to do that just because of a pretty face. When she turns to leave, she glances back at me before disappearing into the foyer. I look out the window from where she was standing, and I move on, alone with nothing but my thoughts and her.
Finally, some peace and quiet. Thought the old biddy would never leave.
It's utter madness, this hearing things. I reckon it's the stress, though I don't know what exactly I'm stressed about. If meeting Mrs. Wright has only thrown me for a loop, I'd be worried. If I'm developing some sort of psychosis or disorder, well, I'd call a doctor. But hopefully it's not that. Not right here. Not right now. I mean, it could just be a personal talking cricket, the conscious, so to speak, and I'm only noticing it now, though if it is, this isn't very helpful. Pushing the dilemma of voices in my head, I go back to work, but I can barely make it a few steps before everything tilts and shifts. I don't really stumble, but it feels like I'm being thrown off my feet and the rest of the words just follow? What? Though my feet stand firmly on the ground, and even if I stay mostly upright, I feel like I've been heaved and put off balance. Why? What happened? What happened? I have to close my eyes in hopes of willing the sudden sense of vertigo away, but when I open them, oh my god, what? cool. Covered in blood. That's a good sign. Well, I don't feel any less sick because of the sight that greets me. Blood dripped from the walls and ceiling, pooling downwards and seeping into the curtains and the carpet. A wave of nausea, stronger than the last, hits me along the overpowering stench of the blood and gore. I want to bolt. The rational part of my head is telling me to flee, and I would have gladly done if asked. If only I didn't hear her.
In here, Marianne. Come on. I have something to show you.
I could have ignored it, would have ignored it, if only I heard in my head. But I swear this time it's coming from one of the rooms, much further into the study. No, don't go there! And I feel compelled to pay attention. I can't just turn around and leave. No, when it's her. See, the ghost is gonna play on the fact that she has like a strong bond with this woman. I don't even think as I follow the sound of her voice. Oh god, oh god, oh god, oh what? Oh my god. I was so scared there I'm like, what if it's just like this, she just jumps out? Lorianne. Lovely Amanda Lorianne. Fariona? She was my friend, the only one I had at St. Samanthan's. I was a scholar, the charity case, in a school for privileged and prestigious young girls. They all looked down at me, if they cared to look at me or acknowledge my presence at all. All except her.
Oh, stop your crying. You know better than to listen to Maeve. Why, I ought to teach that butterface a lesson.
Wait, no, lass! I don't want you getting into trouble with the sisters again!
Relax. It's not like I'm going to stomp her and her lackey's arses flat like last time.
Come on, let's just go back to our dorm room. I don't want to be on my Tobler while you go get yourself punished.
You'll be fine. Gip's there with you.
Lorianne was there when I needed her, through my highs and lows. Having her as a friend made being in a strange school, away from my father, all the more tolerable. She saw this poor, helpless girl who was kept down and shunned by everyone else, and being the kind soul she was, she rescued me. So brave, so beautiful. She was something else.
I'll eat all the chocolates stashed away in your closet if you go.
I can get more. Just don't go complaining to me if you get a tummy ache because of that.
Well, you don't want to get detention on a weekend, do you? It's a Friday. We can go to town and have some karaoke. And we can have a go at druids and demons again. You're not going to miss that just because of Maeve, are you?
Sometimes I question what I did to deserve a friend like her. In the darkest corners of my mind, where traitorous thoughts lurk, I thought that she only felt sorry for me. Maybe she was just being a good Samaritan, offering a helping hand, and perhaps I had been too selfish to return the favor.
You have a point. I'll just kick her arse on Monday then.
That's not what I mean!
I know what you mean, Em.
Wait, where are you going? You just told me you wouldn't cause trouble.
I still have something to do. Don't worry. It's not like I'm going to burn down her dorm room or something criminal like that. I'm just going to talk to her. Maybe I'll make it so that her room smells like a dog's air biscuit. That'll make it an excellent weekend. I'll see you in a bit, Marianne. Lots of tumblers.
Because when she told me that she loved me, I couldn't admit that I felt the same way. Not to her, and not even to myself. It was wrong. I was taught that way. Husband and wife, one man, one woman. Oh my god. I'm gonna cry. Cause like, oh no, I'm gonna cry. No, because I know exactly what that feels like. When you grow up in like a religious like kind of like society, and like because she's Roman Catholic, right? And like her and the Irish are very like Roman Catholic, so like yeah, she went to a Roman Catholic school and that's what they're taught: a husband and wife, man and woman. You can't be gay or anything like that, and you kind of like repress your own feelings of like if you started crushing on a girl, you're like, oh, is there something wrong with me? Like that's Jesus Christ, that's kind of how I felt when I was younger too, because like I grew up in a Catholic school too, like in a Catholic environment and all that, and like obviously no one taught you like it's okay to be, you know, gay or like girls or like whatever the case may be. You didn't have to be straight is what I'm just trying to say. And like when I did start like quote unquote crushing on girls and stuff like that, in my head I was just like, that's not true, because I didn't at the time. Again, you guys know me. I already explained this. I didn't know I was bi until like my early 20s, and that's when I kind of figured it out. But like when I was younger, I've always liked guys, but then I kind of like girls too. So I was just like, is there something wrong with me? That's what I kept thinking in my head. There must be something wrong with me, just because I was always taught, you know, don't don't do that, it's not okay, it's not right, it's wrong. And that can really fuck you up. So that's why I kind of feel bad with Marianne when she's just like, it's wrong. And like, she could have had Lorianne, right? That could have been her girlfriend, because she said she loved her. And Marianne couldn't say, yeah, I love you too, because she thought, oh, if I turn out to be like gay or a lesbian or whatever, like, it's very bad. This is why I have a problem with organized religions, can I just say? Oh, damn it. Unclean, impure. I prayed for her and I, for our sins and for our salvation. I wanted to apologize for disregarding her feelings so callously. It must have been like a slap to her face. But life had gone in the way. Exams, which were trivial in hindsight now, took top priority. I had to keep my grades up to keep my scholarship for my father. I told myself I would apologize to her when those were over, when I needed to focus on first and not let anything distract me. It had been easy when she avoided me like the plague. She was upset. I get that. Oh my god. What is that noise? Is that dripping? Oh god. Oh no. I thought I had the time to make things right, but...
At 7 in the morning, students found a 5th-year dead.
What?
Assumed to have fallen from her dormitory window.
No, she killed herself! Oh my god! They told us it was an accident. It was the official statement, but I knew better. She was dead because of me. Oh no. I'm gonna cry. Did she actually commit suicide just because? Oh my god, and then Marianne couldn't say, I didn't turn you down just because, she's confused, right? She doesn't know herself and, her sexuality, and she was trying to focus on school. Oh my god!
May have had a hook and I kicked the bucket, didn't she? Ding dong, the witch is dead!
She had, though she didn't say which, Lorianne.
But at least Maeve had the courage to admit how she felt about me.
I didn't even know how long I've been stuck in here in a trance. In the mirror, Lorianne smiles at me. She's as beautiful as I remember her. But then what? Oh, bitch, what the hell? Wow, Lorianne, you're still beautiful! Oh my god! I feel bile rise up in my throat as a clean image wraps into how she looked when they had found her dead body lying on the cold hard ground. Oh my god, that's horrible! God, Saint Diphaena? I don't know. Great wonder worker in every affliction of mind and body, help me. I'm seeing things, hearing things. Am I going completely insane? Looking everywhere but at her, I hope and pray that it's enough to will whatever this is to go away. It doesn't even immediately register in my head that I can just leave.
You, on the other hand, can't even look me in the eye.
This isn't real. You're not. You're dead!
I'm dead. Because of you. And you won't even look at me. Look at me.
I don't want to look at you! Why? My breathing quickens and I can feel my heart being torn apart by her words.
I'm so sorry, Lorraine.
Oh, Lorraine, sorry.
Look at me.
I can't take it because she's right. It's my fault. The least I can do is look at what I've done. I don't want to look. Lorraine, broken and bleeding, looks at me with such hatred-filled eyes. An unnatural smile stretches across her face, and I can only see malice in it. Bitch, you gotta stop doing that! Oh no! Then she lunges as the mirror ripples around her form, the glass parting like the water surface for her. Oh my god, sorry, that scared me. She grips my shoulders so that I can feel her nails digging deep, sharp even though the fabric of my clothes.
There you are.
Oh, the quick time skip. Oh, thank god, sorry. Apologies spill through my lips as tears cloud my vision, but I won't give in to the madness. With every bit of strength I have left, I struggle to get away from her. Fears grip and threaten to choke me. I endure, I escape, and without turning back, I stumble back out. Whoa, how long have we been in here? I panic. I don't even care where I'm going. With one hand on the wall to steady me, just as I hobble as fast as away from the study. Away from that mirror. Freedom is bittersweet. I'm free from the madness it seems, as running out of the hallway reveals to be in a pristine condition. But it means it means I turn my back on Lorraine again. I have no plans of stopping, not until I know I'm safe. And if that means walking back to Luxburn, as ridiculous as that idea is, so then so be it. Someone suddenly grabs a hold of me, however. Oh god, fingers dig deep into my shoulder and my heart nearly stops. My body seizes and I nearly scream.
Marianne!
Oh god.
You look awful. I mean, not awful, but...
Oh my god, Hannah!
Did something happen?
Yes?
Are you alright?
Mrs. Wright, I...
Wow, this is really awkward. Oh my god, we're actually hugging her? Without thinking, I sought comfort seeing that it wasn't her. It's a sudden impulse to do, and I had been in better condition. I wouldn't have even dared doing such a thing, but I didn't know what else to do. Though I know I shouldn't, her warmth, her scent, they grounded me. She is intoxicating.
Marianne, what's going on? Oh, you're shaking like a leaf.
Tremors run through my body as soon as my mind realized that I'm no longer in danger. I wanted to cry, scream about what I had seen, but it's like a scared child. I couldn't control myself. My mind couldn't reconcile what I had seen. I should have just written it off as a figment of my imagination. Yet I can still feel her nails cutting into my skin.
Are you sick? Should I call for a doctor?
I'm sorry, Mrs. Wright. Just feeling a little woozy and lightheaded is all.
Yes, your boobs are willing to help me. I'm just kidding.
Let's get you somewhere to sit down then. Come on, don't worry. I have you.
A lie. But a whole lot less complicated than telling her I was attacked by a dead girl. When the feeling of fear eases off, I feel nothing but shame for my actions. I quickly back away as I clear my throat and nod in my thanks.
I think I've had enough looking around. If it's all right with you and Mr. Wright, I'll meet you outside.
If you're sure, I'll have the car started. Do you need assistance heading downstairs?
I'm all right, ma'am. Just go on ahead and I'll be right there.
It seems to place at her worries, though only for a brief second. Before she heads down, I don't miss the concerned glance she shoots my way, hidden quickly under another smile. I won't begrudge her for it. That worry. The look on my face must have been a strange enough sight on its own. Even I am still reeling from it, from whatever that was. Her voice still whispers in my ear. After all these years, she's still... No, Marianne. Shaking my head of thoughts, I drag my breath, then follow shortly after Mrs. Wright. Whatever has happened in the past is long gone, only memories now. And those are the things I can no longer bring back. Okay. Looking at the relationship, went down with Luke and went down with Hannah, but it's not like that major of either of them, which is good. Because I do want to keep, like, at least a neutral ground with Luke. I didn't mean to piss off Hannah, but I just wanted her to know that, like, you know, she shouldn't hold back of being like, oh, I need to follow whatever Luke says. Regardless of that, now I completely understand Marianne. And I think I like her the most, because I can, like, relate to her the most. So I'm assuming every instance of each of these characters, the ghost girl will play on whatever their weakness is. In Marianne's case, it's her lover, Lorraine, who committed suicide after the fact that she ignored her and, like, you know, kind of like told her no when she said she loved her. Anyway, if you guys enjoyed this episode, remember to leave a like. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. And I don't know, sorry, I just got really emotional thinking about, like, what Marianne said about how she felt and stuff like that. I know exactly how that feels. It sucks. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye! His mask!
Parker.
Uh-oh. Yeah, he knew.
You knew?
You're adorable.
Alright, thanks, Aki. His fingers wanders down, brushing the lower area of the body responding to his touch.
Wow.